Welcome to another episode of HomeTown Podcast. Today we have a special guest. He is the MacGyver of HomeTown, the master chef of HomeTown, and doer of all things. So let's talk HomeTown, let's talk life, and let's talk together. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thank you.
Or Matthew, whatever. I guess it's whatever the condition calls for. That's what you'd like to be called.
That's right.
Yeah.
Been called way worse.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's find out a little about yourself. I mean, that's the purpose of these things, is just kind of get people know you a little bit better. I mean, certainly you're one of those folks that's behind the scenes, and we don't get a chance to, public doesn't get a chance to see you very often. So tell us a little bit about where you came from. Everybody in the South needs to know, where you from? And that's kind of my first question normally for these things. So just go ahead and peel off, bub.
So I grew up as a military brat, and we ended up settling down in Jacksonville, where I went to finished high school there, college there, and started a career in industrial technology or engineering, and then transitioned into financial world at a corporate credit union, then a regional bank, and then now at a community bank. Family-wise, in the background, and prior to me being here, my dad actually graduated from Aniana and have long roots on Straight Mountain. So It was a wild coming home because I didn't grow up in Aniana, but in 2005 is when I moved back home.
Right. Yeah, it always seems to be interesting. Somebody has a connection. Most people have some sort of connection here. I mean, either they have to find it over time, or they find out about it over time. Oh, we're related, So, and or there's some family member that started here 150 years ago or whatever the number is. But how exactly? I know you probably don't have time in this segment to go over all of the places you've worked, but can you kind of give us some background on what you've done with yourself since college?
Oh gosh. Well, during college, I worked several different jobs. Have to pay to school, have to pay to go to school. Everything from Bostrom seating in Piedmont to economy septic tank and sack, so all ends there. And then after I got out of school, went and worked at General Dynamics and Team Corps, Tonic Engineering Manufacturing Corporation. And then from there, I was actually on the way to the Air Force to see a Air Force recruiter. And a buddy of mine called me. He's like, "Hey, might be interested in this job." And so I stopped by a corporate credit union, and all they saw was something about computers. But then I unofficially worked in every department in that organization, and then went to BBVA Compass, worked there for 2 years. That was interesting because that headquarters was in Spain, and so any kind of conference call was about a 3:30 in the morning conference call. And then after 2 years of that, found my way to HomeTown.
Yeah, one of the things that I've talked about for some time is that, we're kind of a product of all these experiences, including all these places we've worked, and the different things that they bring to the table. And, while you never take 100% of it, you take, I think my rule of thumb is about 10% of every place, that the 10%, the very best 10%. And ultimately what you'll end up with is a bank of knowledge, a set of skills that work just about anywhere, doing just about anything. So it's important. And, while we kind of think that those days of working in one place for 40 years, I don't know that those things are necessarily beneficial to everybody that as people. I mean, that's for some people, but not for necessarily the people that work here. We need to have some well-rounded understanding, you know.
Well, every day makes you who you are, and there's no substitute for experience. So, just because you don't necessarily do it today doesn't mean you didn't do it in your past. So you kind of learn from, and that helps you give a little bit more perspective and a little bit more well-roundedness to, different situations.
So brothers, sisters?
3 sisters. I call them my oldest youngest, my middle youngest, and my youngest, because there's a 3-year difference, a 15-year difference, and an 18-year difference. And all the same set of parents, not blended household or anything. So that was interesting.
You're the oldest.
I am.
And you got 18 years difference between you and the youngest.
Mm-hmm. And
that's an interesting dynamic.
She just texted me last night and said, "Hey, now I'm working in Jacksonville Christian Academy, and I doing 10th grade, and I have some of your classmates' children in my." I was like, "My classmate, like college?" Or it's like, "No, you graduated high school together." I was like, "Oh boy, I'm getting old." So
yeah, it's not how old your children are; it's how old your friends' children are.
Yeah,
and or your, people that you graduated with, the people that you're committed temporaries, over time. We were making a joke yesterday about the fact that all our as you get older, your doctors start retiring. The same ones you've had forever, and it's they've been there forever, and so they taking care of you, and you start to kind of. We were making a joke too that all of our doctors look like they're like fresh out of high school. So that's not the case, but that's just one of those things that you have to kind of get adjusted to as the aging thing goes on, and as you get older. But so you had that 18-year difference, and then you went on to, of course, Jack State.
Yes,
and
Jacksonville State.
Graduated from there and moved on. So now, what about family at home? What you got? 2 kids, right?
Yeah, 2 kids, Will and Chip. So they're growing up fast too. 7th and
are there things they like to do? I mean, what kind of things you have to
run around like crazy?
Yeah,
meeting all the parental obligations of sports and extracurriculars. So everything from cheerleading and was flag football. I opted not to do that this year. And then Chip does travel ball in spring, and now this is his first year of tackle, so he's excited about that. So we'll see how that goes.
That's another interesting thing that's happened through these interviews is that, the folks of a certain spot in life, that I call it their chapter of life, have different, let's say we have, the other day we interviewed Natasha Jackson, and she's got a 6'9", can't remember exactly what the number was, but she's living a different chapter with children of that age, and then of course in your case they've moved now to what, 10 and 12. How old are 9?
12 and 9.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that for a minute. My goodness.
See, that's what'll happen, by the way.
Oof.
Just kind of want to forewarn you on that, Matt.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you start trying to wonder today, say date of birth. That's kind of the thing that tells you, things are passing along here pretty quickly. So, yeah, but it's interesting, and that's one of the things that I take a lot of pleasure in is watching people mature. And move through those chapters and see what they're doing. And for instance, Cassie, who was with us the other day, she's got a senior in high school, and she's got. Is that right?
She just graduated.
Yeah, she just graduated. Mm-hmm. So both of her children, who were very small children when she started to work here, are now, out of school, moving on. Hope's another one that y'all haven't had the opportunity to see yet. But Hope is she's moved. She's got one that's almost ready to graduate from college, another one in college. So the point is that we get to see that chapters of life within the team here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of exciting. And I mentioned this in one of the other episodes, but we have a family day every year, which is really kind of a overgrown picnic, but it's huge, and lots of people, lots of fun, very unique, lots of exciting things for everybody to do. But for me, I'm sitting there watching what was a toddler or a whatever, and now they're 14, 15 years old and they're growing up. And, again, it's not the employees getting older, it's their kids getting older. And so we're kind of living out life here together. So it's kind of exciting. And that opportunity, that family day every year to get all those folks back in together and see what's happened, and notice that they're growing, that they're, maturing, moving on to this, driving, all those things. So it's kind of interesting. If you get a chance to kind of step back and look at it and from the bigger spectrum, it's a lot of fun, really. I mean, you get to live it with them a little bit.
Well, and then you get to see them when they come in too. So, the times that we've done the just the afternoon get together and that kind of stuff back here in the back, it's kind of cool too. And just keep it casual and let them come in and see their kids, see their spouses, and it's wild. You're right. There's a lot of changes that happen, and they happen so fast.
I know that at the bank you wear lots of hats, do lots of things, and we pride ourselves on almost all of our team members having the ability to be, generalist is what I call it, where you have a general background and understanding, and your whatever, whenever is more or less our a way of doing business, or your job description. But in your case, it's whatever, whenever, whatever. It's just got lots of moving parts here. So kind of give me, give everybody a little bit of background on what your primary responsibilities are.
Primary right now is the sports complex that we're constructing. So it's really kind of, it is going to be the county sports complex that will be able to have 4 NCAA basketball courts, or 6 NCAA volleyball, or 16 pickleball, multi-use field beside it, and then a little RV area up at the top, really geared more towards travel sports. But that's the big project, I guess, in the forefront. And then after that, I have a amphitheater downtown, and then professional building after that. So a lot of construction projects, and couldn't do it without Trent for sure.
Yeah.
But that's outside the bank. Inside the bank, it's like you said, kind of whatever, whenever, and just it's tough because you never know day to day. It's not a checklist of I need to accomplish these 3 things in order for this GL to be balanced. It's, hey, can you come to Cleveland? Can you meet me at City Hall? It's just wild.
Well, I can give a little bit of background on that. One day I saw you when I got here. You were running the forklift to manage some of the supplies we have. We have several things on pallets, and we're moving things around. Then you're moving a trailer with what we call the cheater, which is on the forklift. It's got and then next thing is that I visited the Sportsplex site, and you're running a skid steer loader out there, and then also maybe a Mini X when they need it. And then later on, we were hooking up the ATM trailer to be taken to an event somewhere, so that maybe Pinson, Cleveland, wherever they need it. For people who have events, we have a mobile ATM that we can take and place on site, and it enables folks to have the cash they need, and us to serve them right there on where they are. And so we're working on that, hooking that up, maybe checking the condition of it before we send it out. And then later on that day, I visited in his office, and they're doing some network reconfiguration and trying to make sure everything's connected. So that's all one day.
Yeah.
So that makes for a lot of fun, I guess. It keeps you ginned up, and you don't get too
you don't
in a rut and get bored.
No stagnant.
Yeah,
not stagnant at all. So
the formal way, we don't really have any titles here, but I call him the project manager, and so whatever we got going on, go take a look at it. Let's make sure it's running and doing what it's supposed to be doing. anything that we remodel and reconfigure, placing a lot of equipment in service. Matthew's the guy, and so that's why I call him the MacGyver of hometown. But he also a pretty good cook, and I know that's one of the things you like to do.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was actually having that conversation with Cassie the other day. She said, "You like to cook?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Why?" It's kind of stress reliever. It's something that you take all these crazy ingredients, you put them together, and it tastes great, but individually, not so much.
Right.
And she was like, "You're crazy." But apparently she doesn't really like to cook that much. But
Yeah.
I said, "I don't mind the cooking. It's the cleanup I don't like, So,
Right.
And I think you've had personal experience there where depending on the meal that you're cooking, you can use a lot of pots and pans.
Yeah. Well, I would say all the meals that you cook involve lots of pots and pans. And, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And that's, like you said, that's what makes the meal and the dish what it is. So, it's almost, I know we kid you about this, but it's almost an artistic thing that, you're an artist, you just happen to be putting it into a pot.
Yeah.
And it's really tasty when it's over. That's the most important part of it. So, what's the most interesting thing that's probably happened here at hometown that you could recall? I mean, something that you just kind of went, "Wow, this is interesting."
I don't even know.
I know that you were deeply involved in our COVID strategies, which were almost hourly.
Yeah. That was wild. It's that's hard to explain to people too. We have, I guess that's probably the most interesting thing where it's kind of wow is, there's a lot of organizations out there that talk about the community and doing things for the people outside of it. And, here we're not scared to go out and let's go get an ATM trailer to take to events, or, hey, during the whole COVID thing, nobody knew what was going on. So let's go buy this cooking equipment. Let's feed the branches.
Right.
So there's other people. It's like, you're just gonna have to go home. We're just gonna furlough everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't do anybody any good. But at the same time, through all of that, like you said, we kind of worked through the strategy of how are we going to continue to serve a customer base and keep everybody safe at the same time.
Yeah.
And, we developed that really, if you think about it, in very, very short order.
Yeah.
So
it was I know Bruce and I had a conversation in here, and it was a challenging time, but it was a learning experience, and we learned lots of things, and we're still seeing lots of results of COVID, changes in behaviors, both for the team and then also for our customers. So, it is one of those things I think that'll go down that we talk about. It's hey, you weren't here for COVID, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be one of those time frames that people kind of relate back to, and unfortunately that happened and we dealt with it. A pandemic's not one of those things that we want to see again, but
doesn't happen every year.
Yeah, but certainly I was very proud of our team and our, organization, the way we handled it. So, but I know that, like I said, I know you were deeply involved in that. So, and then of course now with the sports complex going on.
So, complete side note, but isn't the generational marker an event that changes kind of history or whatever? So I wonder what the generation after that is, like after the pandemic. I mean,
that's a good question.
Pandemic generation? I mean, what do you call
that's
them?
Not something I'm really qualified.
I don't know.
We'll have to look at, obviously there's Google.
Yeah.
So we'll find that out
Google
today. But, one last question, Matthew. What is it you're really enjoying about life right now? I mean, what is it you're really engaged in that you really like to do?
Well, there's so many moving parts that you kind of have to enjoy all of them just a little bit, even though they're a little bit stressful. But, having a family and kids that are active, that's a blessing. You look around and there's some people that are not as fortunate, and you have to realize that when you get really frustrated that, hey, these are good frustrations. So really just enjoying that kind of stuff. And then the challenges, as stressful as they are at times, just challenges in general, when you overcome those challenges, kind of a win. So on a personal level, you can really kind of look back and go, all right, I accomplished that, learn from it. You kind of keep moving forward. So, and that happens everywhere. You know,
I think there's any better emotional or mental exercise than challenge. I'm a big fan, and I think that it's never too early and it's never too late.
Oh, there was I think you and I have talked about it before too, but there was I can't remember who I was listening to, but they were talking about that, you know, if you're challenging yourself and you're comfortable, then you didn't ever really challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it be physically, whether it be mentally, whether it be socially, you know, if you don't, it's like working out, you know, you don't go in there and go, oh, I'm going to walk for 100 feet and say, all right, I'm done. Well, if you're in shape, you're probably going to need to run 5 or 6 miles.
Right.
You know? Same thing mentally, you know, keep reading and keep trying to learn something every day. The people that stop learning, they stop being ambitious, I guess you could say. So I don't know. That's just personal opinion.
Well, thanks a lot, Matthew, for your time. I know that you're busy, and there's a forklift out here waiting on you somewhere. Thanks again for joining us on the Hometown Podcast, and look forward to seeing you again at next episode. Thank you.